we are, Gabe. This is the place that makes this fabulous English beer, and we've come a long, long way from Germany and Austria to get here.
You are right. We must find what our secrets are. We've been traveling for months to get here.
Yeah, they're expecting us. We must go in now.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, same here.
Ja.
Would you like to try our ales?
Ja.
Ja, ist sehr gut.
So, this beer has a wonderful flavor.
Ja.
How did you achieve this remarkable taste in the beer?
Well, you see, gents, that's a secret of the trade. Very hush-hush and all. Can't really talk about it. Excuse me, I've got to spend a penny. All that beer, you know. Even ours. No matter how good it is, at some point you've got to give it back.
Yeah, it's not like we'll find your secrets while you're gone.
Or use a hollow cane or anything like that. If you look at the barley on the table behind me, I've never seen malt that pale. I wonder how he does that.
Shh! He will hear us. Quick, Gabe, get some malt. I'll use my hollow cane and get the beer. We need to get all the evidence we can find. Yeah.
Quick, he's coming back. Shh.
Yes, now, as I was saying, we make our ales from a different kind of malt than you boys use. So you see, our delicious ale...
This is getting boring. We just want to make the beer. Yeah.
What's going on here? I'm dropping the beer, but it's crazy. It's driving, it's drowning me. I'm falling in the beer. It's swimming. This is a spy story. The beers and the close relatives that most of us enjoy today are the result of two spies, one from Germany and one from Austria. This is a story of...
Anton, what is this guy talking about? We weren't spies.
No, we weren't. We were just getting information on how to make our beers lighter.
What is he saying? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think we need to take over from him and tell everyone what this beer is about. Yeah.
Flavors and very crisp taste. Hey, wait! You guys aren't supposed to be up here. Get down! Go away! Way back in the day in our youths, before we visited England even, all the beer in the world was dark beer.
Yeah, that is because the malt which gives beer color was all dark malt. Prior to the 1800s, no one had ever seen anything except a dark-colored beer because all the malt being used was dark in color.
Malt is the ingredient which gives beer its color, either dark or light. Before it can be used to make beer, malt must be dried, and the ovens we used to dry malt with were very, very crude. So in the old days, the malt got all burnt and such from the flames and the smoke, and the rubbing right against up the grain. The smoke was just there all the time. Yeah, one day during the Industrial Revolution at the beginning, someone figured out a new oven that used clean burning coke as fuel instead of coal or wood. This oven was revolutionary. It burned very clean and it didn't contaminate or burn the malt. The malt was lighter. This allowed English brewers to make ales that were lighter in colors than our beers were, and those were older and darker colors. Anton and I met and became friends while traveling through Europe in the 1830s to learn our craft in order to become master brewers. Our families were brewers. We visited breweries in Munich, London, Scotland, and Burton-on-Trent to learn and sometimes steal the secrets of our competitors. During the day, we'd visit breweries, observing the ingredients and processes. In the evening, we'd return to our hotel to study and review what we had seen. Today they call it industrial espionage. But back then, we just called it research. But I suppose you could say we were beer spies. We heard about brewers in England who were making pale-colored ales, which was a revolutionary concept in our time. We made a special point to visit England to see what they were doing and how they were doing it.
And when we were there, we borrowed a little bit of the beer to analyze later at our hotel. From these samples, we learned the secrets of making amber-colored beers. We even borrowed, wink wink, some ingredients when our brewer hosts weren't looking. My walking cane, complete with a siphon, made getting samples of beer pretty easy, at least when no one was looking, yeah. Once back in Vienna, I was eager to put what I had learned in England to work. I was particularly interested in creating my own version of a pale-colored malt, like the malt we found in England, and combining it with the cool fermentation process that was common in Central Europe. In 1841, I hit on the right combination when I combined a pale malt of my own creation I called Vienna malt, and then brewed and fermented my beer at cool temperatures. It was a lager. It was pale. It was good. My family had been in the brewing business for many years. My father, Franz Anton Dreher, was a brewer and had purchased the family brewery many years earlier, leaving it to my mother, Catherine, upon his death. The brewery was located in a town called Schwekat on the southeast side of Vienna. We also owned land around Vienna where we grew our own hops and barley, which made it possible for me to experiment with these ingredients instead of relying on ingredients that other brewers were using. I originally called my creation Marzen, but it was later referred to as the Vienna Lager, and it was a radical departure from the beers that most Europeans knew at the time. Vienna Lagers were pale in color relative to other beers, an amber reddish hue, which delighted the eye. Aside from its appearance, it featured subtle malt flavors previously hidden by the scorched malts, toasty, sweet, crisp, and malty. The Vienna Lager satisfied the palate without the burnt flavors that beer drinkers were used to in 1841. Vienna Lagers were a sensation, and because of them, I eventually got to be known as the Beer King. When in 1861 the Emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Franz Joseph, awarded me the Knight's Cross of the Franz Joseph Order. My descendants continued the family tradition of brewing until after World War II, when they retired from the beer business. But even today, there's an active brewery on the site of my original Schwekat brewery near Vienna.
Meanwhile, about 300 miles away in Munich, my family ran the Spaten Brewery. My father, Gabriel the Elder, the older Gabe, was an innovator himself who propelled the Spaten Brewery from a relatively obscure one into one of the most prominent in Munich. Father embraced new technologies and change, passing that trait to me and my brother Joseph. A very thirsty audience was eventually found at a local beer festival, the Munich Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest had been going strong for about 30 years when I created my Munich version of the Amber Lager. But it wasn't until 1871 when my brother Joseph introduced Spaten Amber Lager as Oktoberfest beer, and it became the official beer of the festival. Oktoberfest beer was traditional Oktoberfest for many years. But today, even lighter-colored lagers are consumed at Oktoberfest as tastes have changed and the festival has moved away from my original formula. But export versions of Oktoberfest beer consumed in America are often very true to my original version and recipe. Our amber lagers changed the world of beer color and helped to further the brewing of lagers. Our amber lagers were revolutionary, but it was only a year later that another German brewer, Josef Groll, brewed a light gold beer he called Pilsner.
Yeah, the arrival of Pilsner shifted the attention of the beer world once again and left much of our important work to be ignored. But Groll built on our own work for his creation, and the legacy of our amber lagers lives on even today.
In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many brewers from Austria and surrounding areas immigrated to the New World. Many of them chose to locate in Texas and Mexico. In the United States, the Vienna Lager and Oktoberfest styles flourished until Prohibition. Mexico never had Prohibition, so the traditional beers lasted much longer there, and some Mexican beers brewed today still reflect our 19th century Central European amber lager tradition. Today it is very hard to find a Vienna Lager in Austria, but modern versions of them are still common in Mexico. Yeah. The two malts so important to European amber lagers are enhanced by the same process used to brown foods in cooking, the Maillard reaction. In the Maillard reaction, food is browned and new flavors are created. This browning is responsible for crispy French fries, roasted coffee, bread crust, seared meat, and flavorful beers, as it concentrates and modifies sugars in the food or grain. The Maillard reaction creates a specific compound in both the Vienna and Munich malts known as melanoidins, which gives these malts their deep and sweet flavors.
Because of these similarities between our malts and cooking, our amber lagers pair very well with foods. Besides pairing well with many German foods, amber lagers pair well with meats like poultry and pork. Mexican foods also pair well with them, and the sweet, malty nature of beer tends to quench the palate spicy foods. Personally, I like to pair amber lagers with any foods that have been browned, caramelized, or seared, because those flavors compare very well with the malt in our beers, which has essentially been browned in the kilning process. The Vienna Lager and the Oktoberfest beer are very similar, but different. My Vienna Lager was made with Vienna malt, which was organically produced with my own barley and malteries. And it is the malt that makes a difference. Vienna malt provides a grainy, malty flavor, but not usually as rich as the flavors in Oktoberfest beer.
My Oktoberfest beer, or Marzen, is usually a bit richer in grainy and malt flavors than Anton's Vienna Lager. That's because the Munich malts that I used brings more of these flavors into the beers. Looking at the two of them, it can be hard to tell the difference. They're either amber or slightly brown in color, and they're both right around 5% alcohol by volume, though some Oktoberfest beers can get a little higher than that.
In my day, we usually drank beer from an earthenware stein. Today, amber lagers are often served in traditional German glass known as the Willi Becher or Willy Becher glass. This is the standard beer glass in Germany and is good for many German-style lagers. The Willy Becher looks like a pint glass, but it tapers near the top. It helps to concentrate the aromas as they escape from the glass. In some cases, the Marzen or Oktoberfest beer is served in a dimpled mug. These are the types of glasses that you might see at the Oktoberfest celebration itself. And in Europe, we use a glass that's big enough to give the customer a full serving of beer while leaving room for a good head on the beer, which is very important to the senses.
The beers that we created in the 1840s were different from other beers for two reasons. First, our beers were lagers, very different from the ales being brewed in England. And our beers were much lighter in colors than most of the other beers being brewed at a time when most every beer was brown or black in color.
And instead of brewing ales like the English, we were brewing lagers. Our beers were fermented in cold temperatures that flavored the lager strain of yeast and created a smooth, easy-to-drink beer. Of course, in the 1840s, we didn't even know what yeast was, whatever it is. Yeast weren't understood until years later when Louis Pasteur finally showed that they were responsible for fermenting beer.
Over the many decades that brewers aged and stored their beer in cool temperatures, we were unknowingly culturing our yeast to favor those that functioned well at lower temperatures and killing the ale yeast that worked better at warmer temperatures. In those days, we only knew that certain things worked well, like lowering the fermentation temperature.
Congratulations! You've finished the module. Hopefully you have a few minutes to take the optional quiz that is coming up. Like I said, it's optional, but if you are taking a Beer U curriculum and need to get credit for this module, you'll have to take the quiz and get at least 70% of the answers correct in order to show this module is complete. Good luck!